Hello everyone and welcome to Live Lessons. It is a stormy night here in Nashville, Tennessee. Glad you have given a little bit of your time to be with your evening to be here with us. We're very excited to have with us our very special guest, Bill Piburn. Bill, thank you so much for being here with us.
Glad to be here.
It's going to be a great night. We've got all kinds of exciting things going on, a lot of giveaways. If you want to be a part of our giveaways, then you need to be logged in to us through Ustream. That's ustream.tv. If you're logged into us through there, then we'll see you in the chat, and then you'll be able to be a part of the giveaways. Hey, I see you're already typing in where you're from. Type that in. That's always fun. I see Rhode Island, Virginia, saw Jacksonville, Florida, San Antonio, my hometown, Nacogdoches, Louisiana. Here they all come. Anybody from overseas? Wisconsin, Georgia, Arizona. Look at them come. All right. Well, glad you guys are here. It's going to be a great night. I thought we would make this Fingerstyle Guitar Month now that we're into December. We've got the new course coming out. We've got a whole bunch of exciting things lined up for Fingerstyle guitar. So in keeping with that, I thought it would be great to have Bill be a part of our live lesson. To get us started off with, Bill, can you play us something on that beautiful guitar of yours?
All right.
Beautiful, beautiful. Now, tell us about that song. Is that an original song?
Yeah, it's a new original. Mm-hmm. You could tell by the mistake I threw in there.
It's this live. This is live. It wouldn't be a live lesson if we didn't make mistakes. That's what brings the magic. Yeah,
it has the unique title of B in October. Mm-hmm. It's in the key of B. It was written in October. Mm-hmm. So.
Bill has done so many great things over the years. I came to know his work through, he was the editor of Fingerstyle Guitar magazine, probably one of the most influential resources in my guitar development. I was telling him earlier this evening, I remember being in Austin, Texas. We were living there at that time, and I had a little restaurant gig that I played on Friday nights, and loved it. It was great. 4 hours of just sitting and playing and nobody listening to you, and you're in the corner, you could play whatever you want to do. I loved it. And I would grab Fingerstyle Guitar magazine and grab a couple of songs out of there every week and work them up and try and play them. So his work has very definitely put food on my table. Anyway, it's an honor to have you here. Bill, how'd you get started playing?
Well, my father was a guitarist, and so when I was I was 10 years old. He bought me a guitar for my birthday, my 10th birthday. And first thing I learned that evening of my 10th birthday was the G chord. And I played that for about a month. It was the most fun I had since. But he played Chet Atkins style guitar, self-taught, learned by off records. And eventually, you know, he taught me how to play like, you know, Freight Train. I remember like taking like months to go, okay, I'm moving my thumb, now I'm playing the melody, and, you know, it just seemed overwhelming. Eventually, of course, progressed. And eventually hooked up with a teacher at the Conservatory of Music in Kansas City, Missouri, where I'm from. Learned to read music, studied some classical guitar, but yet, even though I studied classical guitar, I was always interested in, you know, Chet Atkins and Lenny Breau and the jazz players, and I was always frustrating the classical guitar teachers I had because I was always wanting to change chord voicings, and I always wanted to put the ninth in the chord.
That's right.
You know, and they said, well, you can't do that, and I said, it sounds good. Why not?
That's right. That's right. Now, did you eventually go to college and play, jazz, or study music?
I went to Montana State University and studied privately with Christopher Parkening for a year.
Wow.
And I did a couple of his summer master classes, and then I spent a full year in Bozeman with him. We had 9 guitarists, and they were all, you know, unbelievably skilled players.
And that was it. You spent a year?
I spent a year.
As one of
weekly,
9 guitarists meeting with Christopher Parkening.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah,
that statement alone, I just want to make sure that didn't just go by and nobody caught that.
I wish I'd have understood, you know, how important it was at the time. Actually, I would have worked harder.
Yeah.
But I guess we'll say that all our lives as we look back, you know.
Yeah.
I should have worked harder.
Yeah.
But I did what I did at the time. And then I did the unique thing of selling my classical guitar after I left there and went on the road playing with a country band for 4 years. Complete waste of my life.
And you're how old at this time? You're early 20s?
No, yeah, right. Oh, now you then.
And, when you were doing that?
I was 21.
Yeah. Okay. And then, so what brought you to Nashville?
I came to Nashville to visit a guitarist friend of mine, Tommy Jones, who is one of the greatest fingerstyle guitarists of all time. I urge anyone to go to YouTube and look up Tommy Jones. One of the greatest talents of all time, and such a good man. He passed about 7 years ago, and we were good friends. I come to see him and spent time with him, and eventually it led me here. I got married, had kids. I went back to Kansas City, where I'm from, and played in hotels, and you know, and just did that thing, and worked some with my father. Eventually, we came back to Nashville, and I've been here since.
Wow!
And then eventually, it led to getting hooked up with Fingerstyle Guitar magazine, and so I did that for over 10 years.
Bill's passion for fingerstyle guitar is evident in everything that he does. He is a wonderful connector of people, of artists and people who just love fingerstyle guitar. I can pretty safely say that fingerstyle guitar as a genre would not be where it is without the work of Bill over the years in just connecting people together. One of the finest examples, just for an example of his ability to connect people together, this is his guitar. We'll try and get a shot of this guitar. This is a normal Gibson Chet Atkins model, and you said was 15, 20 years?
15, 20 years ago, something like that.
Go through some of the names. He's got signatures of artists that have signed his guitar. Go through some of the names on your guitar.
Well, first I had Chet Atkins sign it for me, and he was...
That's right, you know, there. There's Chet Atkins' signature.
He was very kind to me through the years, and I miss him greatly. So he signed it, and I had no one sign it for years, and I thought, well, you know, I'm not going to have anybody else sign it. And I've through the years, I've known a lot of guitarists all over the world. And but eventually I thought, well, I'm just going to go ahead and start having some of these guys sign it. So when I would see him again, I'd have him sign it. And got, you know, Scotty Moore that played with Elvis Presley, and Oscar Castroneves was a guitarist with Brazil 66, Reggie Young, a session guitarist, Martin Taylor, Harold Bradley, Phil Kagi, Earl Clue,
Tommy Emmanuel, Steve Warner,
Paul Yandell.
Of the certified guitar players by Chet Atkins, you have all but one have signed this instrument.
Yeah, that was Jerry Reed.
Jerry Reed, who died a long time ago. But so many. It is amazing to me to look at all the Richard Smith, Joe Robinson, young guitarist from Australia who I would love to have on the show.
Andy
McKee.
Brent Mason.
Tom Bresch down there.
Noki Edwards from the Ventures.
Jack Pearson, of course. Some of our good friends have signed that guitar.
Yeah. Well, I've made a joke with people. I had a couple people say, well, I'll sign your guitar if you want. I said, no, you don't play well enough.
So, there you go. Well,
so I said, you have to play well before you sign this guitar.
Well, one of the things that I had said when Bill was, we were talking about what we could do on the show, is one of the things that Bill has done for fingerstyle guitar is the whole art of arranging for a solo guitar. And so I asked Bill if he would bring us a song, and so he brought us the song I'll Be Home for Christmas of the great classic standard. Fabian, I'm so sorry I did not get you our notes for this lesson. If you could, I'm going to really make you work hard tonight. Can you put up the link to where folks could download that? Thank you, Fabian. It's already there. You're so great. And you can download the music to this. And I thought it would be fun if Bill could play that for us and maybe show us a couple of things out of that arrangement. This is I'll Be Home for Christmas.
Yeah, and I'd like to speak about this for a moment before we start. Steve had sent me an email earlier requesting I play a Christmas song, but I recorded a Christmas album about 15 years ago, and I forgot every arrangement that's on it. I don't even know that's me playing. I listened to it, and I'm going, who is that? But so then on the second request, I knew you were serious about it. So yesterday, I worked this up, and I have my penciled sketch version right here. So I'm going to be sort of half remembering this and half reading it, and we can discuss some of the elements that went into it.
Yeah.
So I'll just play it through one time so we have time to talk about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous arrangement of that great song. Tell us about some of the things that are going on in that arrangement, or even how you approached taking the melody and throwing the chords on there.
Well, it's I arrange by ear, but obviously I've studied music and studied harmony. And I think what you have to do is you learn to trust your ear. But as you're developing this trust for your ear and learning your instrument and listening to as much music as possible, you want to study harmony, the foundations of harmony. The greatest thing that happened to me as far as understanding harmony was I studied with a man named John Elliott in Kansas City, who was a local legend, jazz pianist. He was Pat Metheny's teacher, for one.
Wow.
and a lot of great musicians in the Kansas City area. Taught harmony, and I learned to spell chords, and I understood harmony. And I want to say that one of the first things that many guitarists overlook is the understanding of simple triads. As guitarists, we tend to learn these big block chords, and for solo guitar playing, you know, they're really not all that useful. You'll notice when I was playing this, a lot of times it's just one or two notes, you know, and you need to know the relationship of those notes to the harmony, and not be locked into chord shapes. We want to learn chord shapes, but eventually you want to get to the point that you're not confined by a chord shape. You know, as an accomplished player, that you have to be free of any of that restriction. So that's just you know, an overview, but there are some elements in this piece I could talk about if you'd like. Or there's some questions?
Yeah, I mean, just, sorry, my mind is spinning with everything that harmony and approaching a solo guitar arrangement. One of the things that Martin Taylor talks about is the importance of kind of inner lines, and how you can define a chord sound in a piece with one or two notes.
Exactly.
And part of the brilliance of being able to do a solo guitar arrangement is you're not really playing 5 or 6 notes at a time. That is more a trap that I fall into a lot, rather than just letting these individual lines suggest a melody or suggest a little harmony part that's going by.
Well, that leads me to something important to talk about, and that is basically arranging for the guitar. Good arranging for the guitar is basically orchestration. You're doing the same thing on the solo guitar that you would do if you had an orchestra in front of you. You're talking about voice leading. Now, I also want to say, and I'm going to sound like an old fogey here, but there are a lot of guitarists nowadays, new generation of guitarists, who tend to play things in a lot of open tunings that kind of, you know, don't have a lot of structure or melody or chord changes. You can't hear them, and they lack voice leading. Voice leading is the logical movement of one line to the next, and good voice leading is pleasing to the ear. It's just, you don't have to be a trained musician to know this. When people hear it, they go, "Oh, that's pleasing." It makes sense. It's built into the universe. You know, it's in our DNA.
Example of,
well, I want to play some, for example. Yeah, let's look at this. Now this chord, now the original chord change is diminished. It's like, you know, let's see. It's C diminished. Now, since the C diminished is, you know, can be inverted easily like this by moving up a minor third, instead of starting on this diminished, I started on this diminished and moved down. So I have this bass line. That's a voice leading. Now here, a bass line. So if you were the bass player in an orchestra and you were playing a bowed bass, that might be a line that would have been orchestrated, you know that. But you're just doing it on solo guitar. So at that point, I was thinking about creating a logical voice leading for the bass. There's voice leading in the upper part, voice leading within the chords.
Like play that first ending.
Oh, this.
Yeah, that's the ending little phrase there.
Yeah. Can we talk about that?
Sure.
Okay. Well, this uses a device that's a common tone, and the common tone is the A note, and the A appears on every chord. So it's A. This is a C9. B flat minor, B flat 7th. So here's voice leading. This is a good example of voice leading right here.
Now he could have
That's
just
the inner
gone
voice
from the
leading.
one chord to the next chord, but there's that, whatever that is, a B going to a C sharp there. He added that little C, that raised that up and kind of pulled that line out of the mix. If I'm reading the chord right.
Yeah. Well, see, in my mind, the way I hear that, it's almost like a choral thing. If I were to hear, I listen, you know, to orchestration, but also listen to. You don't hear a lot of records nowadays because there's not a lot going on in records nowadays. But sorry, I told you I'd tell you the truth. But it's for example, it's Christmas time. Go and listen to a Bing Crosby or Andy Williams real Christmas record with real orchestration. And now we tend to automatically listen to the vocalist, but take the time and listen to what's going on inside the orchestra. You hear the violins playing the little inner line, the bass line. The bass might be going down, the violins are going up, you know, while the singer's, you know, doing the melody. So when you think about solo guitar, and I've done this, I rip orchestration off quite often. You know, but you'll hear something and you'll think, wow, you know, if I could do that on the guitar, and if you boil it down to just one note instead of trying to play these big block chords, then you can actually find a way to sometimes do that movement. And when I talked about the lines going in different directions, that's called contrary motion. And contrary motion is also something that's very pleasing to the ear. It makes you wonder for a moment, where is it going to resolve?
We had a couple of questions on the discussion board, Bill, about in the notation of it. You had put, like, if you're looking at the music, guys, in the third measure, you'll see a notation above the staff that says in Roman numerals 2 hinge, and then in the next bar you'll see something that says 2 4 6. Explain to the guys what you're talking about.
All right. Well, let me look at the music here at this point. A hinge bar basically is where you're barring like the inner part of strings, where you'll have an outside, say in this case the open E has to ring, but I'm barring the 5th string and the B note and the A note, and that's a hinge. So this first digit hinges like this. That's a hinge bar.
So the bar is not coming.
It's not coming across all the strings.
All the strings. It's just using part of the bar and then lifting up so that you can get that open E singing out underneath there. It's kind of tricky to do that. But anyway, that's what it's called. Now the Roman numeral 2, that's because it's at the 2nd fret. 2nd
fret. Now the next measure over, you'll see it says Roman numeral 2 4 \6. That means to bar the 2nd fret 4 strings of 6. We have 6 strings. I'm saying to bar the 2nd fret, but don't bar all of them. Now,
it's just telling you that you're barring 4 of them, not which 4 you're barring.
It doesn't, well, no, but you have tablature.
You have the tab's telling you that.
Right, and plus the standard notation. But the reason, with the guitar and with bars, you want to work as little as possible. You know,
that's generally been my theme all along.
That's why I started playing the guitar.
That's why I didn't become a piano player, because they're nuts. So.
Well, so I guess what I'm saying is a lot of times when you see a bar in the music, it's not always necessary to bar all 6 strings. If in that point right there, the chord it's a E, B, C sharp, and F sharp. Now I could bar all 6 and still play that, but it's requiring more effort, more physical effort. The other thing is is that I may have a bass note underneath, which I do, actually. Surprised I said that. There's an A bass note
Ringing out.
on beat 1 that's ringing. Although it's written as a half note, it actually is ringing out and sounding as a whole note.
Yeah.
So it's...
There you go.
If I barred that,
Then you wouldn't get it.
I couldn't get that, or if I put the bar down, I'd cut the note off.
Yeah. You'll see that type of notation in a lot of times in classical guitar notation. It's a more formal way. There's no really standard way to notate a lot of guitar things, so there's a lot of variation in it. But a lot of times when you'll see notating bars in a fingerstyle or classical sense, you'll see the Roman numerals start popping in there, 2, 4, and that's telling you what fret the bar is happening on. So it could be, 5 or 6 or wherever the bar is at, but that Roman numeral is telling you the fret that bar is occurring, and then it may give you some information as to what is happening with that bar, the 4 of 6 using 4 of 6 strings, or there's a hinge on it, or it's a half bar. Sometimes you'll see a little half symbol by it as well. So there's all
I'll add 2 things on this. My friend and great guitarist Stanley Yates, that teaches at Austin P up in Clarksville, in his notation, he'll put the Roman numeral, but he'll put a small number at the top that would indicate the number of strings to bar. So, for example, in that place where I have 2, 4, 6, 4/6, he would just have that 4, a small 4, right up in the right-hand corner of that Roman numeral.
right.
And I had to ask him, well, Stanley, what do you mean there? And then, I thought, oh, well, I should have figured that out, But, so you're right, there's some variation in guitar notation.
I know, I've seen it all kinds of different ways. Let me climb on my soapbox for just 30 seconds. This is another reason why when you sing just tab, and they hand you these tabs, man, don't clutter my mind with that real music, that standard music notation. It throws me off, man, just give me the tab. There's a lot of things that there's a lot of information that tab just can't tell you. How are you playing those notes? It just tells you these are the frets that have to be put down at any point in time, but it doesn't tell you what finger I should use. Is it a bar?
Right.
How am I supposed to interpret this? Is that a melody note, or is this a bass line that's coming through? All these little lines, tab has nothing wrong with tab. Tab's great for what it is. It's just a tool, but there's no way of indicating melodic lines, contrary motion, things like that. With tab, it's just what it is at that specific second of time, and there's a lot of information that it cannot do, and so guitarists figure out a way to do
or
it.
if I wanted to arrange music from another instrument,
Yeah.
I wouldn't buy a tab for the piano.
Yep.
In other words, so if I had a piano score and I want to make an arrangement of a Bach keyboard piece, it'd probably be best if I could read the music.
Yeah. Yeah.
So actually, for me, it's easier for me to read music than tablature. I tend to make more mistakes when I write tablature than when I write music.
Yeah.
But reading music is not as overwhelming as some people make it out to be. You just have to be patient and just give yourself time to develop that.
Yeah. All right, let's take a break from all of that and talk about some of the other things that Bill is involved with. You did Fingerstyle Guitar Magazine for how many years?
Well, I was the editor for almost 11 years, and then I worked writing articles and transcribing music and various involvement probably for another 4 to 5 years before that. I got involved with issue number 2.
Wow. An amazing publication. I happen to notice on your website, fingerstyle360.com, Fabian, you're already way ahead of me. Look at you. It's before I even speak. Actually, I think, Fabian, you're directing the show, and I'm just following the links that you're putting up now. I saw, this just thrilled me, you had in your store all the back issues that you have, which are not all of them, but all the ones that still exist on the planet, for $99. It was a great deal at 360 Fingerstyle 360 in their store. So, Fabian, you'll really get your money's worth if you can find that link in their store and put that up. But tell us about Fingerstyle360.com.
Well, Fingerstyle Guitar Magazine went away with new ownership and the perfect storm of the economy and publishing cost and etc., which was a heartbreaking thing for me. Not only lost income, but the fact that this community no longer had the community of guitarists didn't have the publication that I felt was the best guitar magazine, period, for what we do. So a couple of years have gone by, you know, without it, and I hear from a lot of people, and there's nothing filling that void. So I've on my own, with a former publisher of Fingerstyle, not the last one that caused to go out of business, but we started a new magazine. It's a downloadable magazine, Fingerstyle360.com, and it's as good, if not better. The unique thing about today is that we have Facebook and YouTube to bring in more of an international community of guitarists, where before we didn't have that. So I'm currently talking with guitarists in multiple countries, including 2 guitarists in Iran, Japan, Austria, I mean, all over the world, Italy. And obviously, you know, there are famous guitarists from these countries, but I'm also interested in the people that are not famous, that are just gifted, gifted players, and they're all over the world. So our magazine gives a chance for these gifted people to be heard no matter where they're at, and that's my goal, is to bring those people, you know.
One of the things that I love about Fingerstyle, Guitar Magazine, and now Fingerstyle 360, is that it's really for players. It's not just interviews with famous people, but you never actually hear them play. The whole idea about it is that you're getting transcriptions. You're not only getting the interviews and things about gear and whatnot, but you're also getting the music of what they're playing, and then there's a button there, as you were telling me earlier, that you can click and link and hear the music and see the guy playing it. So if you're wanting to, and then you said it was what, 50 pages each issue? Well,
it's been averaging 50 plus pages. I think the last issue was closer to 70-some pages.
Wow!
But it's a lot of stuff. And actually, I find myself thinking, why do I want to put myself through more work? You know, because you know, I think I'm finished, and then I'll like hear some guitarist. I'm like, wow, this guy just knocks me out. You know, I gotta, you know.
And it comes out 4 times a year.
Right.
And we had one of the questions on the discussion board, are there things in it for various skill levels?
There are, and various styles. And I also have a unique feature. I've started a Young Artist Spotlight, which is for guitarists 25 and under. Now, my brother told me I needed to start a senior citizen column. That most of my friends, including me, were more towards that. But so this is something that I can showcase a guitarist that's maybe not necessarily in a career as a guitarist, but who loves the guitar, maybe, you know, plays well, maybe they're a college student, you know, but, you know, it gives encouragement and exposure to those people. Maybe you know, maybe that might help them get
their break.
Might be their break to get their first hotel gig or something.
So I encourage y'all to check out Fingerstyle360.com. One of you lucky fellas or gals is about to win a year's subscription to Fingerstyle 360 magazine, which comes out 4 times a year. And the winner of that, are you guys ready? Wow, I'm not going to say this right. Al's Croakey, A-L-S-K-R-O-K-E-E. You have just won a year subscription to Fingerstyle360.com magazine. Tremendous resource. Al's, what you need to do is email us at service@legacylearningsystems.com. Send us your information, email, your mailing address, phone number, things like that, and we can get that to Bill and hook you all both up, and we'll go from there. Fantastic. We had, let me catch a couple of questions before we move on. We had a question. Jerome LMG is asking, is Bill playing the bass note first, some other notes, then his highest note, like I had talked about last week? And I can probably answer that. But when you're back in the arrangement of I'll Be Home for Christmas.
Okay, well, actually, all of that happens.
Yeah.
And basically, there's a style of, there was a term in the jazz guitar world, they used to call it chord melody.
Yeah.
Which was this big blocky chord thing, and I hated that style.
Yeah, I teach a lot of that, so never mind. Don't say anything.
Well, it's fine for learning chord inversions. I think that's a good purpose.
Yeah.
But I always look at the guitar as orchestration.
Yeah.
And if you're listening to orchestration, not everything happens at once.
Yeah.
Or should it?
Yeah.
And there's also the deal with texture. Texture is an important thing.
Yeah.
If you were arranging for a choir, you wouldn't have everyone sing in the choir at once. You may have four sing, and then the harmony come in, and then someone in the middle, and then the bass part. That's the way, this is what's happening in solo guitar arranging. So at times, there's a chord, at times it's just a melody note, at times it's just a bass line. I would suggest that you take this score and you look at the points where there's things happening, where there's just one note moving, or where there's a chord, and look at other people's arrangements as well. Texture is an important consideration when arranging and playing music.
Got one more question. Jody SPC is asking, can you also define the use of, let's see, 5-2-ST at the end?
Oh yeah. I was going to mention that.
What that is? Fifth position, they're assuming. What is the 2-ST mean?
Okay. Yeah, I started to mention that and got off track.
Oh, sorry.
The 2-ST it means you're barring two strings. So that's that turnaround.
Yeah.
So I'm just, with my first finger, I'm barring the A and E note. So it's... Sorry. So through that sequence, I'm barring those two strings.
And the 5 is there because he's barring them at the 5th fret. And then you have the notation. Again, the Roman numerals are telling you where bars are at, and then they'll give you some instructions of what's happening. And the 2-ST is telling you that you're barring two strings.
On the ending, it says 4-2-ST, and now this is kind of a unique ending because it's.
I looked at it and I couldn't figure out how to play it. Oh.
So what I'm doing...
Well, I was trying to keep the G sharp hold strong. I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was ending up with something like that.
Well, you'll have me going home trying to figure that out. And I'll call you tomorrow and go, wow, I found this is so cool. But what's unique about this harmony at that point is it's just something I just heard in my head. It's actually going to A flat, back up to A, and the one chord is A. But what's cool about it is the root of the flat one is the major 7th note. So it's this. So if I'm going, and it works cool. It's little subtle things that kind of add a little variety to, a little surprise.
Can you play us one more thing?
I'll play one more thing. I'll play a little bit of a song I wrote that my guitarist friend Tommy Jones recorded. And he recorded it twice, actually. Once on a solo record that Chet Atkins produced on him, and then once with Chet Atkins, which was a big thrill for me. I got to be there at the session, and they had a full orchestra on it and everything. It was pretty cool. And I actually wrote this song in 1986 at the Adams Mark Hotel. I improvised the song basically when a waitress complained about me playing the same songs over and over again.
What's the name of this one?
It's called Only My Heart.
absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous.
Thank you.
Everybody, we're going to take a quick break for about 60 seconds. Hang with us. We got much more music and giveaways and all sorts of fun stuff coming up in the second half of the show. See you guys in just a few minutes. Hey there, Steve Krenz here, and I have some exciting news. We're finally finished with our brand new guitar course. You know, when we asked our students what they would most like to see from us next, it was overwhelming: fingerstyle guitar. So that's right, we've created Fingerstyle Guitar. Learn and Master Spotlight Fingerstyle Guitar is our newest addition to our line of guitar courses. This is the result of popular demand from our friends and followers, and I couldn't be more pleased with how it's turned out. You know, imagine sitting down with just you and your guitar and playing a solo fingerstyle arrangement of one of your favorites. You know, I created this course so you'll have the tools to do just that. We've got special guests, interviews, basic, intermediate, advanced lessons in everything from traditional acoustic fingerstyle playing to arranging songs for solo guitar to classical jazz guitar, Merle Travis style picking with several stops musically in between. This is going to be a very thorough course, so get ready to take your guitar playing to an entirely new place.
Legacy Learning Systems' Learn and Master line of courses features an exclusive multimodal learning process to build skills from the ground up. By utilizing 4 modes of learning: reading, listening, watching, and doing, even a complete beginner can follow this easy-to-use program of self-directed study. Building confidence and skills, our system allows the learner to progress through intermediate and advanced levels to full mastery. Each course contains between 12 and 22 DVDs of visual instruction, a full printed workbook, access to our online support community, as well as 3 to 5 audio CDs in our music courses, which include fully produced jam-along tracks. Learn in the privacy of your own home, at your own pace with the Learn and Master family of courses. Bring your dream within reach. Furthering your education, Legacy Learning Systems offers a unique resource to all students, the Learn and Master online community. Here you can communicate with fellow students and course instructors and immerse yourself into an interactive community where knowledge, fun facts, and experiences are shared. Signing up is easy. Take your learning to the next level, the Learn and Master online community, your place for serious instruction.
All right. Well, thanks for sticking around to the second half of the broadcast. I hope you guys are doing well. I wanted to let you know about one thing. We do lessons over at Gibson Skills House, and I handle all the skill-based lessons, and we talk about, you know, various skill-based things, but I don't really get into the song lessons end of things. But they asked me about a month ago to do one of the song lessons, and it was a song, the Christmas song, you know, chestnuts roasting on an open fire. So, which is an arrangement that I actually had tried to put to, I had worked out the entire arrangement back for the Song Hits course a year and a half ago. Wrote it all out, and then we couldn't get the publishing folks to say that it was okay for us to use the song. I wanted to put it again in the fingerstyle guitar course, and we couldn't get the rights to it then. And so of all crazy things, they let us be able to use it for the Gibson lesson. So I just want to let you know, Fabian, if you can find that lesson, you're already probably way ahead of me. The, on the Song Hits, or excuse me, the Gibson Skills House, which I believe is the white button underneath your Ustream video, that will take you to the Gibson Skills House lessons. Over there on the right side, all of my stuff's on the left side, but on the right side, if you go, I think the second one down, you'll see the Christmas song, which is a lesson that I did. And this arrangement is arguably one of the most advanced things I've ever thunk up and put down on paper. So if you look at the music to it, It's just ridiculous. So anyway, but I do a great job in the lesson. They let me have all the time I wanted to, so it's like an hour long, and I just explain everything that I'm doing. So I just wanted to play this song for you, and then y'all can go over to Gibson Skills House and view the lesson part of it and get the music and all that sort of stuff. So, all right, here it is, the Christmas song by Mel Torme. And there you go, a little bit of the Christmas song by Mel Torme. If you're interested in delving into that craziness, then check it out over at Gibson Skills House. The arrangement and all the music and whatnot's over there. So, all right, just wanted to show that to you. And incredibly nervous playing that in front of the great Bill Piburn, but I made it through anyway.
Right.
Bill, you've done so many, 7 books, is it, over the years? You've done some for Hal Leonard, I know, and you've done some for Mel.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think about 7, and then various collections
of solo guitar. So a lot of the solo guitar repertoire for fingerstyle guitar has been notated out by Bill, and so I wanted to just mention a couple of those. Again, Fabian, wow, I'm so sorry. I don't even have these things for you. He's done 3 books that I found for Hal Leonard. Which of these did you do first?
The first book I did for Hal Leonard was Standards.
The Standards. And that's, I have down here 15 fingerstyle songs, Autumn Leaves, Cheek to Cheek, A Day in the Life of a Fool,
Georgia.
Georgia on My Mind, Beautiful, Moon River, My Romance, Nearness of You, Route 66, Sunny Gets Blue. Man, these are all great songs. Tell us about that.
Well, it's interesting. Thanks to the Fingerstyle Guitar magazine, my name, got out there, and I'd have my arrangements would appear, and I used to try to get published by various people, and you wouldn't give you the time of day.
Yeah.
And then Hal Leonard came to me, and I was like, wow, this kind of things have changed, The weather's a little bit little better today.
Yes.
But they came to me. That was about I don't know, 8, 9 years ago. I did that book. And you know, it's really great because they own a lot of
They own the publishing.
They own the publishing rights.
Yeah.
A lot of great standards. They let me pick all the songs out. You know, they didn't say this is what we want you to do. They didn't tell me, oh, we don't like that arrangement. You know, I just did what I wanted to do, which is great. And then I did the Love Song Collection, which is you know, mostly pop songs like Billy Joel and Stevie Wonder and the Beatles and
the books come with the music and the tab and a CD of the tunes, of you playing the tunes.
It's all solo guitar.
It's all solo guitar.
And there's no overdubbing. It's just all played at once, one guitar, you know. And then the last collection was titled Groovy Guitar, which is 60s tunes arranged for solo guitar. And I started a new project, which is the music of Antonio Carlos Jobim. It's South American, and it's been the most challenging, very challenging music to play, to keep everything going on solo guitar.
Yeah.
So
what a genius!
Yeah, it's great music, and a lot of people don't know the name Jobim, but they know his songs, especially the "Girl from Ipanema." But he wrote. He's in the Songwriters Hall of Fame, and I think he had over 600 songs recorded. That are listed in the Songwriters Hall of Fame website. 600.
Amazing.
So yeah, pretty prolific. But that will probably be another 6 or 8 months before there's any word about it coming out. So you just keep your, you know, keep posted on that.
I would encourage you to check it out. I see, Fabian, you're already putting some of the links up there. Check out Bill's stuff. I don't make a dime from this. This is just great fingerstyle resources. And Bill knows how to make it to where a player can understand and gives you all the information that you need. So there's 3 books, the Fingerstyle Guitar Standards, the Groovy Guitar, which is the 60s songs, and then the love songs as well. Check them out. It's great stuff. So anyway, that's that. But we're going to give away one of those. We're going to give away a standards book that Bill has graciously offered up for us to give away. And so if you're kind enough, we'll have you autograph it as well. And the winner of the Fingerstyle Standards book by Bill Piburn, autographed, is JDB Explorer. JDB Explorer, you just won the Fingerstyle Standards book by Bill Piburn. Send us in your information at service@legacylearningsystems.com. Address and phone number, that's the main thing. I'll get those to Bill. He'll get that book to us, and then we'll get that out to you. So, congratulations. That's a lot of fun. Let's take a couple of questions before we get out of here. Kent had a question on their discussion board. I had put up a video of you playing and talking about Chet Atkins and Lenny Breau. Yeah, I found that. And one of the things that you're playing there is you do a little bit of playing there, and you're holding your guitar like you're holding it now, with it more up, kind of more in a classical almost position.
Well, that was just because the guy that filmed the video handed me his guitar, and it was actually on like a bar stool. And I just kind of had the guitar up like this, so I would normally not even play that way. I just happened to be the way I could hold the guitar and keep it in my lap on a bar stool. Now, it wasn't at a bar, though.
I know when I'm playing something tricky, and I'm really having to think of what my hand is doing, I have a couple of options. When I'm on an instrument like this, I can't really do it like this because it's just such a wide body. It throws my legs in an awkward thing and twists your back in a crazy way. So I'm on this type of instrument, I'm hunched over. But you times that by about 40 years in a jazz club, and you end up with guitarists that walk like that because they're just hunched over their instruments all the time. So quite often, I like having my guitar up a little bit. So when I'm playing live, I prefer my guitar up rather than Pete Townsend down. I don't like that. I can't do much facility down there. It's only when it's up here that I can actually move my fingers like I want to. So, and I know that Chet Atkins guitar, at least the ones that I've had experience playing, they're weighted kind of funny. It's pretty heavy on this end.
This guitar has a hollow sound chamber, so it's lighter weight. This is a better one, you know.
Yeah.
But also, now I have when I play my classical guitar, I have a device that's called a neck up.
Neck up,
it's
yeah.
like a suction cup
Anderson
thing,
told us about
and it
that.
raises the guitar.
Yeah.
Martin Taylor uses a footstool, like a classical footstool.
Yeah.
But you know, a lot of flamenco guitarists play on the right leg. I mean, it can be done so many ways. It's just, but in general, if you need to move up the neck comfortably, it's good to have the guitar, like you say, positioned up a little bit and over, so you can get. If the guitar's too far over like this, it's hard to move. If you're just playing chords like a singer-songwriter in lower position, it won't matter because you're not going to be probably above the 5th fret anyway.
Yeah. One thing I would encourage you all, pay attention to how you are positioned as you play, especially if you do a lot of practicing, you're practicing a long time. Watch how your body is sitting in the chair and how you're holding the guitar. If you're not paying attention, sometimes you'll end up and you're all kind of cockeyed here, and you end up, gosh, my back hurts and all this sort of stuff, and you have pains and things like that in your arm and stuff like that. Be mindful of where your body is at as you play and where that guitar is at, and you want to make sure that's as comfortable a playing position as possible. Cool. I want to give away one more thing because we're so already out of time. Let me answer a couple of questions here before we get out of here. I think that's P. Darrell MC, or maybe O. Darrell MC, says, do you need a special kind of guitar for fingerstyle? You want to tackle that one?
Well, I don't think so, really.
I wouldn't think so either. Depends on what you're trying to do. If it's you're trying to play fingerstyle jazz stuff, then go ahead and get you a big, beautiful archtop jazz guitar. If you're doing acoustic stuff, there's so many great acoustic steel string guitars these days.
You know, when we started playing, you couldn't get a good guitar for $300 or $400. I mean, thankfully my father was a musician. He bought me a good guitar when I was 10 years old. He bought me a Gretsch, little parlor-sized steel string, which was a pretty expensive guitar, you know.
Small ones.
But nowadays, for $300 or $400, you can get a pretty decent little guitar that will play in tune. The technology's there. But I would say what's more important is that the action is not too high. You don't want to be discouraged by, I have a friend that's, I believe, out there watching now that I've had a Taylor guitar. It's a great sounding guitar that the action is just too high, need to be adjusted. Guitars sound good when the action's high, but they're hard to play.
Yeah, cannot emphasize that strongly enough. Take your guitar. Guitar learning is hard enough. Don't be fighting an instrument that's hard for you to play. Take your guitar down to the local guitar place and have them do a setup job on it. Lower that action as low as you can get it. Get that instrument tweaked out, or better yet, learn how to do it yourself. We've got Greg Voros from Grun's Guitars did a guitar course for us on setting up your own instrument, so that's even better than doing that. Let's do a couple of things. Oh, let's give away one more thing. Wanted to give away another one of Bill's books, the Groovy Guitar, the 60s one, which has A Hard Day's Night, Scarborough Fair, Sitting on the Dock of the Bay, Spooky. Oh man, you got a lot of good stuff in here. Walk On By. Someone is about to win that. Comes with a book and CD, and we'll coax Bill to sign it. The winner of that is Tom Dawn, Tomdaun, Tom Dawn. You have just won Groovy Guitar book by Bill Piburn. Anyway, lots of fun. Good. One last question here. Let's see, DOG1, you're asking, Bill, so you improvised, I guess we're talking about the I'll Be Home for Christmas. Bill, so you improvised this song. How do you remember it so you could write it out?
I think he was talking about Only My Heart, I believe,
yeah,
when I improvised it. I played it several times before I went to sleep, and then I had a cassette recorder. But But what happened was actually I had improvised it, and a couple people in the restaurant asked me what it was, and they seemed kind of intrigued by it, so I thought I better remember it.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, that's sometimes we're blessed with things that fall out of the sky, you know.
Yeah.
I don't even know if we have anything to do with them. We just happen to happen to channel them.
That's right. Always good to have some way to record. If an idea comes, Gordon Kennedy, we were just talking about Gordon Kennedy before the broadcast and his songwriting ideas. Always have something close by that you can record an idea into. And you mentioned practicing, before you go to bed or something like that. For me, that is a weird thing that I don't know if anybody else works this way. But if I do something right before I go to bed, then my mind just chews on that all night long. And it ends up, I'm able to work things out if I do them right before I go to bed. So if I'm trying to work out a fingering issue or something like that, I'm trying to remember something, I'll play it right before I go to bed for the evening.
I've experienced that sometimes the problem you have is solved in your sleep.
Yeah, yeah. And I'll wake up and I'll think, oh, well, I could finger it that way.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
That means we're obsessive.
Something like that. Something like that. All right, let's get out of here. A couple of closing announcements for you. It's been great having Bill here with us. We've got live lessons coming up. Next week, we'll have our Christmas special with none other than the great Phil Kagi, whose signature is right there on Bill's guitar. So Phil's going to be with us next week. Don't miss that as we're kind of celebrating our Fingerstyle Guitar Month and Christmas and all that sort of stuff. Also part of this Fingerstyle Guitar Month, I did a Fingerstyle Guitar course, which that is now being out and sold. So Fabian, you've got the links for that. Hopefully you can dig those up. And if you're interested in learning about Fingerstyle Guitar, I would encourage you to check that out. Poured a lot of hard work into that. So, all right, our December newsletter comes out next week. All kinds of great things. I teach in that newsletter, I teach an arrangement to Joy to the World. You guys asked for Christmas arrangements last year, and I think we went through 3 of them last week. We've learned I'll Be Home for Christmas today. I showed you the Christmas song on Skills House. The December newsletter comes out in a couple of days, and there you're going to see Joy to the World. And I did another one on Gibson Skills House called Away in a Manger, and that is coming up. That is already down there as well. So between all of those, you've got, I think, the better part of an album's worth of fingerstyle guitar that you could be working on, and we'll learn more in the next couple of weeks. So anyway, take advantage of all that stuff. Appreciate you tuning in to us. Christmas song, Away in a Manger, those are on Skills House. If you like our live lessons, if you like what we do, please like us on Facebook. And then you can also rate our Ustream videos. That always helps us. Wow, just my open talk from last week has had over 4,500 views. So it's amazing how well you guys are chewing up everything we're doing here for the live lessons. All right, now that we're getting out of here, I'm done with all of my announcements. Can you play us one more thing? Do you have one more thing to play us?
Let me give that a little thought here.
thank you so much for being here with us. It's
Great.
an honor to have you on our show.
It was fun.
Thank you all. Have a great week. Keep up the practicing. Making music is a wonderful thing. We'll see you guys next week with Phil Kagi. See you next time.